Hi guys, this is Bo. I'm actually going through my comic collection to see what I have and what I'm missing. And again, I'm missing a lot. I did keep Infinite Crisis, which is kind of great because this series I feel is probably the true successor to Crisis on Infinite Earths. We had a Legends before this, and then we had a Millennium, which none of it to me really um, is kind of like the follow up of Crisis on Infinite Earth. And Infinite Crisis, I think, is a good step in that right direction, or at least has good ideas. Unfortunately, I don't think it actually was great in the end because obviously, I don't know. There's some stuff that came out of this, and we'll talk about it once we get to it. But yeah. So to help people get on board, they release a 80-page for $1, which in 2005 was actually quite a good deal. It's basically free. This thing is basically a kind of like a kickoff to Infinite Crisis, and think about it as being the issue number 0 because obviously it helped kicks it off. Alice Ross did, or no, Jim Lee and Alex Ross did the cover. So Jim Lee did the pencil, Alex Ross painted over it, similar to how George Perez and Alice Ross did for the Crisis on Infinite Earths collection cover, hardcover. But yeah, so the 80 page kicked up, and then we got the first issue, and this is a great George Perez compilation or composition because it has the Trinity, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman on the cover. Really great looking cover. So for every issue of Infinite Crisis, you get two covers. You get the Jim Lee cover, and then you get the George Perez cover. And obviously, I am more biased, and I would only buy the George Perez cover. There are some exception in here because sometimes, and I'll point it out because sometimes the Jim Lee cover is actually pretty good, and so I ended up only buying one cover. So as you can see, from the price point is $3.99, which is quite a bit for a monthly comic back in 2005, 2006. Because you may recall before this, they DC had a slogan called "Drawing the Line at $2.99," which is they refused to go above $2.99, and that was a big deal because the cheaper they can make the comic, the more comics collectors can add to their collection. Obviously, $3.99 is a little to ask, but I think it's a really good cover, really good paper stock. So I think this series, I think $3.99 is not asking too much. So yeah, this is the cover of number 2. Power Girl. I don't know. I'm not crazy about this cover. You see the monitor here, and you see various, the famous Flash of Two Worlds cover. So you see George Perez kind of doing homages to the JLA cover for the crossover meeting between the two Earths. Obviously the hand on Crisis. I mean, but if you didn't look at the background and you see Power Girl's butt, it's really not. I don't know. I don't think it's a great cover. So I ended up buying the Jim Lee cover, which has her front. Which is what she's known for. Okay, number 3. This is Wonder Woman battling, I guess these OMAC, or no, yeah, One Man Army Corps, and it's the Perez cover. It looks like I picked up the sketch cover for Jim Lee. So what Infinite Crisis did is they would often sell out a print run. So let's say the original print run was like 30,000 or whatever, and they'll sell it out. And so with demand, they would go back for a second printing, and instead of using the same cover for the second printing, they'll have a new cover, which kind of entices collectors such as myself to buy the second printing. So basically, DC was making extra money on the side by having a brand new cover, even though the new cover kind of would, all things considered, isn't a great cover because it's just a sketch cover, so it's not a complete cover, but it's something for the collector, I think, and I think it's cool. So I ended up buying the sketch cover, and oftentimes the sketch covers are kind of hard to come by because a second print or third print, by that point, not everybody's gonna buy them, so they may not order very well. Fourth cover, I don't know. This one is okay. It looks like it's just a standard explosion of stuff and a lot of heroes on the cover. Yeah, so this is actually probably one of my favorite Infinite Crisis cover. Two Superman fighting out, and the older Superman is punching the modern Superman through, looks like shattering space and time or something. It's I like it. I think it's a great composition. Anytime you see two Superman fighting, I think it's worth checking out. Yeah, so this is the sketch cover. So let's take a look at the two side by side. Yeah, so they did a Perez sketch cover of that one. It's kind of like a very loose layout. Normally, Perez, when he does, when it's more finalized, he tends to be very tight, and especially if he is not inking it himself, he would make it pretty tight so that the inker would have to kind of follow what is laid out for them. In this case, it looks like since Perez was going to ink it himself, he was a little looser and kind of like the layout. But you see, he signed it. Yeah, it's a very loose. You can see the two there. But yeah, this is probably second or third printing. I don't know what like I said, they have various printing, and as a collector, I like to get pretty much all the variant covers if I can, especially if it's for a certain artist I like. I don't actually have them all, so I may be missing a few of these, but this is what I have. And they may be kind of hard to come by too, because sometimes a lot of comic store won't order the second printing or the third printing. So it's kind of dependent on I guess if you're a true collector or very religious about collecting, you would probably have pre-ordered this, even though a lot of times the second printing are not announced until maybe the first printing is sold out. But yeah, sixth issue, I actually did not like this cover at all. Perez did the cover, so I had to buy it, but I was not a fan of this. There's just something about this design, maybe the color, but like I could hardly tell all the characters, like this Wonder Woman right there, but it's hard to tell. And then just the layout, I'm not crazy about this one. Yeah, did you know there's two worlds back here? I didn't see it. The color maybe makes it hard to see. Yeah, not crazy about this cover. So so I ended up buying the Jim Lee cover, and this is the Jim Lee cover. It's very simple. Superboy Prime's on the cover. This is a Batman thingy. I mean, this is Superman, Death of Superman, Wonder Woman. this is a very simple layout. This is what Perez should have done. A simple um, kind of like cover, but instead this is just crazy. Too much going on here. I can't tell what's going on here. Um, so yeah, I prefer the Jim Lee cover. Sorry, George, but this in this particular case, Jim Lee has the upper hand. And then we have the last issue, the seventh issue. I always found it strange that the Infinite Crisis went up to issue 7, which kind of weird, like a weird number to end this series. And why not 8 or maybe even 10? Make it a even 10, or I mean, maybe Jeff John didn't have enough material. But yeah, 7th or 6th issue probably would have been better. But 7 is like just a weird number to end the series. Um, this particular cover is actually problematic because the colorist, Tom Smith, actually kind of messed up the first time he colored it. And in fact, if you want to see the messed up colors, DC made a boo-boo and printed the poster book, and the poster book has the wrong colors. The correct colors you can tell by Raven cape right here is it's colored kind of like a bluish, dark bluish, and you can't tell that from this cover, but this is the correct colors. Okay, there's other colors in here that's corrected. That's correct. But if you have the poster book, compare it to this cover, and you can see the differences. And one of the big differences is this is colored white. Okay. So that's how you can tell. Now, I would bust out my poster book for comparison to show you guys, but unfortunately, that is one of the things I left behind when I moved, because that poster book is so big. It is massive, which I thought maybe I would just order another one and then have them deliver here, and that would be the end of the story, because then I'll just buy another copy, right? It's probably cheaper that way versus then bringing it with me, or but now that I think about it, it is somewhat of a regret that I left that behind. I should have just found some room and brought it with me, but that's the kind of thing you think about when in the light of day, when I left so much stuff behind. So it's not really funny, but no. But yeah, so that's Infinite Crisis in a kind of like a nutshell. So yeah, one of the cool things that that it kind of brought to DC is, I think there is like the first appearance of the new Blue Beetle, the Mexican Blue Beetle, is actually in Infinite Crisis. I don't know which issue it was, but this one, like maybe the 4th issue. But yeah, yeah. So I don't have that cover, but there's a Jim Lee cover that shows the maybe it's the 4th issue, because I don't have the Jim Lee cover to that. But the 4th issue, or one of this issue, has the new Blue Beetle, and I guess that's like a big deal, because obviously they made that new movie, and I don't know if the back issue prices for that Infinite Crisis went up or not, but I know it must have, or at least for the people in the collecting speculation business, that probably did well in the back issue. But as far as I know, I only bought the Perez cover, so we don't have that to show you as an example. But yeah, otherwise, this was a really good series. I think George Perez did return to do interior art as well as the cover art, and I think at the time he may have been working on the Brave and the Bold with Mark Waid, And so, and from my understanding is that this was priority for him. So whatever pages he got to draw had to come first before he can start work on anything else. And in fact, actually, he's working on the DC Bible at the time. And he said that Infinite Crisis was all hands on deck for this one because it was a very tight schedule, and all the pages that George turned in looked great. I think he actually wasn't even meant to be on the book. To be honest, I think. I think they did wanted him on the book just as kind of like because it's the successor, or even if it wasn't the spiritual successor, it was to me the true successor to Crisis on Infinite Earth, and who better to get on board with than George, who did the original art, and so to have him do the new art, I thought was a great idea. And like I said, I don't think he was meant originally to be the one of the artists on the series. There's other artists on here, Phil Jimenez. I think, Jerry Ordway did some of these. So yeah, they got the original art team. And then, so it looks like Phil did the first couple of issues. I think maybe... they actually, Jerry Ordway. It's been a while since I read these. There was a collected edition that came out, but because I had already had most of these on the original, I actually ended up never buying the collected edition. I think if they collected it and made it very special, like maybe with extra artwork or some special deal, I might get into it. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay with just having the floppies. So yeah, but yeah, pretty good series. If you haven't read it, it's pretty good. Superboy Prime. I don't know. Just. Was it necessary? I don't know. That's the thing is, I think it's, you think about it, is DC just needed event comics to bring in people to buy titles, I think it was good, but I don't know if it was necessary. Let's see. Yeah, I think I actually have not really kept up with any of the other events that came after this. I think there was one, the recent one, DC All In or something. I'm like, I don't know. It looks. Yeah, I actually kind of after Infinite Crisis, I actually stopped really collecting singles, and I mean, I still buy it once in a while at certain titles, but I just stopped kind of following I think partly because the comic book prices have really gone up. I mean, you're talking to someone who collected comics when it was 60 cents, and now it's like $4 for an issue, and now I think currently it's probably $5 is probably the normal price. $5 is considered, it's kind of like the new $1. $5 is and that sounds like a lot of money. Yeah, so I mean, the thing about comics to me is affordability. I think you can get like a couple of these every week to read and be entertained, and when they get to a certain price point, you gotta consider, well, I gotta eat. I got to spend money on other things that's maybe more important than comics, which is kind of like a bit of a luxury. Now, because of the lack of space that I have, because I moved into a house that has a limited space, I think I'm trying to go digital, but it's much harder because digital don't always look appealing. I don't think as a like paper or printed. But anyway, yeah. So if you collected this series, you know. If you didn't, check it out.